And let's welcome Mr. Liu Qitao to make a speech, deliver a speech. Let's welcome.
女士们、先生们，大家下午好。非常高兴有这样一个机会，能在日内瓦的这样一个场所跟大家进行一些交流。那么方才呢，我们政策的制定者们讲的都很精彩。那么他们现在走了，轮到我们干活的来了。这个为了更好的表明跟大家做一些交流，就是中国企业走向国际市场这些观点和想法。那么在这之前呢，我想对我们公司做一个简短的介绍。中国交通建设股份有限公司是中国一家从事交通基础设施建设的这样一家企业。那么它的英文名字缩写呢，就是4个 C， 非常简短，也非常相同。这家公司呢是在香港上市的一家公众公司。那么它是中国最大的港口建设企业。那么从港口的设计这个码头的建设，以及港口装备的提供，以及港口的投资、融资和运营这样一个全产业链服务的这样一家企业。那第二个方面呢，就是公路和桥梁和跨海大桥、海底隧道的建设这方面我们也做了很多很好的业绩那么第三方面呢，就是中交股份呢拥有全球最大的挖泥船队，就是疏浚船舶公司。那么同时呢，我们也从事着房地产的投资的业务。那么中交股份呢，这个是中国也是亚洲最大的国际工程承包商。这是美国的 ENR 的杂志的统计同时呢，也是亚洲非常荣幸的，在2011年，在今年被评为亚洲行业最佳上市公司。那么中交股份呢，这个整个在去年的规模呢，大概是新签合同订单大概是630个亿美元完成的营业收入呢，大概是超过400亿美元这样一个规模的这样一家企业。那么这个现在呢，我们是非常这个传统的施工建设企业最早是这个有上百年的历史从清朝政府开始。那么这家企业的前身从清朝政府开始，经过民国一直到中华人民共和国这样一个很100年历史的这样一个企业。那么这个企业现在发展到今天呢，那么在国内我们主要从事建设了从南到北的这港口建设以及公路网的规划和建设，是吧？那么现在走向全球，我们秉承着这样3个方面的理念和追求。第一个就是合作共赢的理念和追求。那么这个合作共赢的理念呢，我们在走向全球的过程当中，我们始终秉承这样一个理念。那么这里边包括3个内涵。第一个就是合作伙伴之间的合作共赢，我想这个大家都容易理解只有合作共赢，我们才能走到一起，我们才能一起合作，我们才能可持续的合作。那么第二个合作共赢包含的呢，就是我们对我们服务的对象业主以及政府和当地社会我们也秉承着这样一个服务理念和共赢的理念特别是我们在一些发展中国家，非洲、亚洲做一些政府的公共设施建设项目的过程当中，那么我们都会主动的本着当地政府、当地社会的经济发展需求来从事我们的投资，选择我们的投资和选择我们的建设，而不是追求短期的利益我想这方面呢，也是一个 合作共赢的理念。那么在这个过程当中，我们也追求这个社会环境环保和安全和质量这样一个理念这个我们中交股份呢，连续多年发展每年都坚持发布社会责任报告，就是把我们企业履行的社会责任每年都做一个总结，向社会做一个公布。第二一个呢，在这个过程当中，我们跟西方的咨询公司合作，制定了中交股份自己的符合国际标准的合规经营的指导手册。那么我们所有在走出去过程当中，按照这些合规的指导手册从事我们的经营活动。那么第三个合作共赢呢，我的理解就是我们在投资在建设项目的过程当中，要服务于造福于当地的社会和百姓，也就是说给当地的老百姓要得到好处，那么给他们提供就业机会，也给他们提供学习机会，也给他们提供提高技能的机会。所以我们每年都坚持把一些非洲的、亚洲的这些当地的一些孩子选送到中国，我们免费给他们提供学习的机会。所以这个3个方面呢，是我们在走出去过程当中一直是坚持这样一个理念，就是广泛的合作共赢。那第二个呢，我们始终坚持的理念呢，就是我们参与全球化竞争，我们着力于打造全产业链的服务体系。所谓全产业链简单的说，比如说港口，那我们现在具备从物流规划、港口的选址，以及港口的设计、港口的建设，以及港口机械的选择和提供，乃至码头的这个自动化码头的一体化服务，以及投资和融资，以及建设运营。所以呢，如果有这样的机会，就是我们致力于打造给业主提供全产业链的各种服务可能性这就是一个全产业链服务的概念。第二个呢，我们在这个公路比如说公路和桥梁、跨海大桥的建设过程当中，我们也秉承这样一个理念，就是从这个公路的线路的选择规划，然后到设计到施工，以及公路的信息化建设。你比如说这个安全监管系统，以及我们的这个收费的这个信息服务体系，所以我们也提供全产业链的服务。那么现在我们正在致力于打造海洋重工的这样一个全产业链的这个服务体系。那么也就是说，海洋钻井平台领域我们去年在美国收购了一家钻井平台设计公司，我们拥有上海振华这个强大的制造能力。那么下一步我们正在致力于打造呢，就对海洋钻井平台提供一揽子服务这样的能力和机会包括钻井平台的安装、运输、拆卸、维护和管理。所以这也是一种全产业链的这样一个追求这个再一个呢，我们也致力于就是在工程船舶制造和使用、设计、研发的这样一条龙的全产业链的这样一个这个能力和机会。我们去年成立了一个中国工程船舶研究中心，那么我们是全球最大的挖泥船的这个用户，所以我们呢想在这个工程船舶，包括挖泥船在内的，比如说海上大型的吊车、海上铺管船舶，所有海洋工程手段的工程船舶的制造，我们想从研发、制造、使用这样一个全产业链的过程。那么我想在走出去过程当中，我们追求这样全产业链的服务理念呢，我想会给业主带来更大的这个利益，也使我们变得更加有竞争力 这是我们这个全产业链的一个服务理念。那么第三个呢，我们现在由于这个随着投资的全球投资的业务越来越多，那么我们现在也在追求跟金融领域的合作。那我们现在也在谋求一些这样金融这个资本和产业资本更多的结合的机会。你比如说我们致力于我们现在想去打造我们跟银行界的合作，打造一个金融租赁平台，为我们这些全产业链的话合作，我们也探讨在这些基础建设设施领域采用金融租赁的办法，跟银行界进行合作，我想这些都是我们走出去的一些这个想法，不一定很成熟，但是愿意在这里跟大家进行分享。那么中交股份呢，这个现在在全球有80多个国家开展着我们各种各样的业务。那么在这个过程当中我相信呢，我们是有各种各样的机会特别是对欧洲对这个西方的这个合作机会我们尽管有，但是原来不是很多。我相信呢，今后会越来越多，是吧？我们也非常有兴趣跟欧洲的同行，是吧？一起在这个海洋重工的这种制造和研发领域在工程船舶的制造和研发领域，在走出去过程当中的技术和管理领域，以及在欧洲公司的股权合作的领域开展全范围的合作。那么我们也有兴趣在欧洲去股权层面呢建筑类的企业我们如果有合适的，我们也会做一些选择和选择性的一些进入当然我们更多的也希望呢跟欧洲的同行在中国、在欧洲、在中国和欧洲以外的全球其他市场开展全范围的合作我不占用大家更多的时间，谢谢大家。
好，谢谢 Thank you, Mr. Liu. Now we invite the second speaker, Mr. 谢彪总裁。Mr. 谢彪 is the Vice President of China National Machinery Industry Corporation.
女士们、先生们，下午好！非常荣幸呢参加本次论坛，在此呢衷心祝愿本次论坛呢取得圆满的成功。日内瓦高层中国论坛呢一直关注可持续发展问题，那么是一个很好的平台。通过这个平台呢，来自国际组织、政界、企业界，包括学术界的朋友们呢相互交流、研讨。起到了加深了解、促进合作的作用。本次论坛呢，以中国企业走出去与可持续发展为主题。这个主题的确定呢，反映了随着经济全球化进程的加快，中国企业走出去呢，已经成为一种趋势，并且呢，越来越引起大家的关注。我来自一家中国企业——中国机械工业集团有限公司，那么也就是 Sinomatch。那么2010年呢，我们完成了营业额1600亿元人民币。作为一个中国经理人呢，并且呢长期从事国际业务工作，那么在此呢，围绕本次论坛的主题呢，谈一谈个人的一些看法，与大家呢交流讨论。中国企业走出去呢，已经成为一种发展趋势。过去的10年是世界经济格局大变革的10年，也是中国企业全面推进走出去发展战略的10年。随着中国的改革开放，中国企业的经营能力和财力呢，都得到了不断提高。了解中国的人都不得不承认，中国经济和社会的发展需要呢，需要中国企业的快速发展。 中国企业呢要得到不断的发展壮大呢，就必然会走出中国市场，进入呢世界市场，就必然会越来越多的在全球范围内开展经营活动。在过去的10年里，中国企业全面推进了走出去战略，大幅度地开展了对外直接投资和对外承包工程等业务，其经营活动范围已经覆盖了全球的各个市场。我们中国机械工业集团公司和其他中国大型企业一样，在过去的10年里呢，取得了大的发展，并且呢，在我们的3大主营业务领域，也就是机械装备研发与制造、工程承包、贸易与服务这3大领域呢，都大幅度地开展了走出去的经营活动。我们在海外从事了技术研发的活动，我们开展了海外的并购活动，收购了一些机械电气制造企业。今年的上半年，我们还刚刚完成了一家法国农业机械制造企业的收购。我们目前呢有300多亿美元的工程项目正在施工当中，涉及到机械、电力、环保、交通、通讯、农业、建材等行业。项目的数量呢有200多个，这些项目呢分布在亚洲、非洲、中美、南美以及欧洲的70多个国家和地区。我们还在海外呢进行了10多亿美元的 BOT 等投资类业务的工程项目建设和运营。在走出去的过程中，中国企业积累了经验，也制定并不断地完善了国际化经营战略。我们呢不单纯地着眼于获取高收益和高增长，而是呢更多关注完善产业链，提升企业核心竞争力。走出去工作，国际化经营是企业整体发展战略的一部分，与企业的结构调整相适应，与转变经济增长方式相适应。通过走出去，走向世界，加强企业可持续发展的之路。2，中国企业走出去还处在发展的初级阶段。分析中国企业现阶段走出去发展的情况，可以看出，我们呢还处在一个初级的发展阶段。与欧美等知名跨国企业相比，我们中国企业走出去的时间还不长，经验呢也不足。中国改革开放30多年了，我们开展走出去业务还不过10年时间。我们在经营管理、这个先进技术、风险控制等方面呢，还存在许多的不足。我们还需要踏踏实实的不断总结和学习。我们还是一个新的成员，对世界经济环境，包括政治、经济、社会习惯、法律法规等，还在不断的认识、了解和掌握。就我们中国机械工业集团而言，我们的海外业务虽然已经有了一定的规模，也建立了自己的业务和管理模式，但是我们还有许多的不足。比如，我们在全球范围内调动、配置资源的能力还不够强，对东道国当地的自然、人力、社会等各种资源的综合使用能力还不强。为了按照协议的规定完成工程项目，我们还不得不 从中国调用很多的资源。我们对新市场的风险控制还有待提高。我们对亚洲、非洲市场比较熟悉，对欧洲等市场呢还缺乏了解、缺乏经验。我们还没有足够的实力开展技术创新，来满足不断变化的市场的需要等等。总之呢，大多数中国企业都还处在走出去业务的起步和初级阶段。我们还需要认真、踏实、一步一个脚印的不断的学习提高。只有这样呢，才能够为世界的发展做出更大的贡献。3，中国企业走出去的根本目的呢，是为了促进世界发展，实现共同发展。中国企业，包括我们 Sinomatch， 这些年来本着共同发展的原则，在海外呢实施了大批的工程和基础设施建设项目，进行了一定数量的对外投资。所有这些都直接或间接地促进了东道国的发展，包括促进了东道国的人员就业，改善了民众的生活水平，提高了东道国基础设施条件和工业化的水平，对于东道国经济社会的繁荣和发展呢，起到了积极的作用。同时呢，也加强了中国企业对世界市场的了解，积累了业务的经验，促进了我们企业各方面能力的提升。我们到世界各地开展业务的目的，是为了促进共同发展。双赢和多赢是我们开展业务的原则。我们十分注意促进东道国的经济社会发展，十分注意当地生活水平的提高。以我们在非洲的业务为例，我们企业在非洲开展了大量的能够提高当地人民生活水平的工程项目，包括发电工程、输变电工程、通讯还有数字化工程、农业灌溉、水利工程等等。我们的工程师、管理人员、技术人员在非洲大地的艰苦地区，不怕苦、不怕累、不怕疾病，与当地建设者一起呢辛勤的工作。我们重视东道国的环境保护，认真进行环境评估，选择有利于环境发展的方案。我们呢十分注意当地人员的就业，每一个工程项目呢都要培训一大批当地人员，让他们能够掌握较为先进的技术和管理，能够长期管理和运营新建设的工程项目。这无疑呢都有利于当地经济社会的持续进步和发展。促进世界的发展，实现共同发展，是我们开展走出去业务的根本目的。我们认为呢，只有坚持和实现这个目的，才能够实现可持续发展，才能够为人类的进步做出有益的积极贡献。按照这个目的来要求我们自己，也才能够使我们自己不断的持续的发展和壮大。4，我们希望与世界各国企业开展广泛的合作。中国企业走出去是一种发展趋势，中国企业越是更多的进入世界市场，越是需要不断的扩大同世界各国企业的合作。当今世界处在复杂多变的发展时期，特别是2008年金融危机以来，世界经济社会的发展 面临各种各样的巨大挑战，越来越多表现出很大的不确定风险。为迎接和战胜这些挑战，就需要各国的企业尽可能多地开展广泛的合作。世界各国的自然环境不同，经济社会不同，各国企业呢就有各自的优势和能力。我们合作起来，使各自的优势得到充分的发挥，就能够创造出更强、更大的优势和能力，就能够战胜各种困难和挑战。我们 Sinomatch 企业核心理念就是合力同行，创新共赢。这句话我们用英文的表述就是 work together, win together。我们愿意呢与世界各国的企业开展密切广泛的合作。要开展广泛的合作，不仅需要有主观的愿望，sorry， 还需要彼此之间相互了解。在来日内瓦之前，我们对欧洲其他国家呢进行了访问，我们也发现呢，欧洲同行们对中国企业的了解还不够。同样呢， Thank you。同样，我们对他们的了解呢，也还需要加强。要开展广泛合作，首先呢，要彼此友好、彼此接受，怀有合作的愿望。要开展广泛的合作，就要开展具体的相互了解、相互交流的工作。在这个过程中呢，必定能够发现合作的机会，在友好合作中，必定能够创造出更大的能力，战胜更大的挑战。女士们、先生们，面对未来，中国企业要继续发挥自己的优势，不断走出去，为世界发展做出积极贡献。随着全球化进程的加快，中国的发展与世界的发展更加息息相关、密不可分。中国越发展，就越需要同各国加强合作。我们希望各国企业扩大合作范围，扩展合作空间，让我们携起手来，共同创造更加美好的明天。谢谢大家。
好，谢谢谢斌先生。好，谢谢。等一下一起再提问题，好吧？你现在下班就走。那下面我们邀请中国铁建股份有限公司总裁助理陈小兴先生。Next we invite Assistant President of China Railway Construction Company, Mr. Chen Xiaoxing.
Respect Chairperson Professor Wu, and all guests and friends, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's my great pleasure to participate in the fourth British-China Dialogue in Geneva today, which is organized by ICTSD and the UN agencies. And also, I feel very pleased and honored to share with delegates present at this dialogue them the exploration and the experiences of Chinese enterprises going global in the autumn season of harvest in Geneva. The strategy of going global of Chinese enterprises is, in my perspective, of great long-term significance for both China and other countries in the world to achieve common development. The Going Global strategy serves as the concrete manifestation of China as the world's largest developed country to fulfill its international responsibility as a great player on global economic arena. Today, peace and development and cooperation on the overwhelming change of the world. Therefore, the strategy of going global being implemented by Chinese enterprises is in line with the current economic globalization, international division and cooperation requirements, and conducive to boost and achieve a high level and wider cooperation between China and other countries, thus helping promote and maintain world peace. The strategy of going global being implemented by Chinese enterprises is in conformity with objective requirements of many developing countries to upgrade their infrastructure facilities. As known to all, most developing countries are generally lack of sound and modern infrastructure, which becomes the bottleneck for their economic development. China's going global strategy would help developing countries to share China's valuable experiences in the field of rapid development of infrastructure over the past 3 decades and enhance their scale and capability of infrastructure construction. China's going global strategy is an important corporate social responsibility in practice for the Chinese enterprises and will help promote the local economic development by way of creating job opportunity, increase tax revenue for the host governments, as well as improvement and upgrading of local infrastructure. China Railway Construction Corporation Limited, called CRCC, is one of world's most powerful and large-scale integrated construction group. CRCC is ranked number 105 among the world 500 giants in 2011 by Fortune, and was ranked number 1 among the top 225 international contractors in 2010 by American Engineering Record magazine. In China, CRCC is by all means one of the largest construction groups and also one of China's most robust overseas contractors. For 2010, CRCC secured a total amount of US dollars 113 billion for new contractors and realized a total sum of operating revenue at US dollars is $71 billion. CRCC engaged in a wide range of business scope covering project construction, surveys, design and consultancy in industrial manufacturers, real estate development, logistics and trading, capital operation, etc. CRCC is a leader in the field of engineering, design and construction of plateau railway, high-speed railway, expressway bridges, tunnels, and urban rail transit projects. As of now, CRCC overseas operations have already expanded to more than 60 countries and regions worldwide. Another one special project which I'd like to talk to here is the Lekki Free Trade Zone project in Nigeria, Africa, is the CRCC's largest overseas investment project, as well as so far is the largest bilateral collaboration project between China and Nigeria. The Lekki Free Trade Zone will be developed and turned into a modern town of international standard with sound supporting facilities and services and integrated with the multi-functions of investment, business operations, industrial manufacture, eco-friendly environment, leisure and tourism, easy living, and will serve as a milestone for successful cooperation between China and Nigeria, as well as between China and Africa in general. The practice of CRCC overseas operations has fully proven that the Chinese enterprises with international vision and concept are able of going global to compete in the global market and to achieve win-win cooperation with their foreign partners and counterparts. In the face of a global market and looking into the future, CRCC will continue to implement a going global strategy and swiftly in the spirit of constant reform and innovation. CRCC will endeavor to innovate the overseas business model so as to enhance the competitiveness of its industrial chain. When the Chinese company first entered into overseas construction market more than 3 decades ago, the conventional project contracting was their first form of choice to participate in the international competition for construction business. The same is also for CRCC in its implementation of a going global strategy. However, for reinforcing and upgrading its comprehensive capability and competitiveness, CRCC will strive to enhance its international engineering design and consultancy, operation, management, and vigorously promote its shift from the construction contract-based model to a high-end general contracting paradigm covering design, construction, procurement, operation, maintenance, and also shift from the low-end construction contracting to export of management, technology, and standards, so as to achieve the seamless integration of business, design, consultant, and construction, project management, and capital operation for overseas projects. At the same time, such shift will promote trading in goods, services, technology, and building materials, and the export of Chinese electromechanical products to enhance the competitiveness of CRCC overall industrial chain. CRCC will strive to implement the integrated localization strategy to improve its management capability in the host countries based on the carry out in-depth market study and analysis, keeping abreast of local culture and human environment and consumer attitude, and getting conversant with such other factors as the government and the legal systems, geologically and natural conditions in the target overseas markets that may affect operating overseas. CRCC will deploy its integrated capabilities and resources to carry out its strategy of localized operations and management in order to fully utilize the local resources, create more employment opportunities for the local, and collaborate closely with the local enterprises, ultimately making CRCC integrated into the local social and economic developments. CRCC will make its strenuous efforts to improve its risk management and control system for strength its risk prevention and mitigation for overseas business operations. Under the clear-cut definition of positioning of various management levels and overseas business portfolio, and also according to their established interrelationship for risk management and control, CRCC will set up a relatively centralized and autonomous overseas risk management system to implement the full process of risk management, including risk assessment, identification, prevention, and monitoring, and further enhance the risk management and the mitigation capability of CRCC in terms of politics, legal affairs, exchange rates, contract management, environmental protection, labor protection, personal security, and so on. This year, 2011, is the 10th anniversary of Chinese association to WTO, and also the first year for implementation of China 25th 12th five-year national plan. I believe that in the coming 5 years, more and more Chinese enterprises under the guidance of a going global strategy will go abroad to make foreign direct investment and expand their overseas business operations. CRCC will continue to adhere to the going global strategy and establish the big overseas business philosophy In practice, CRCC will, with open attitude and vision, and endeavor to work with local enterprises and host governments to achieve coexistence and a win-win based on the mutual beneficial relationship for long-term stable development. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chen Xiaoxin. Now we turn to Madam Doris Albiser. Right.
May I have the presentation slides? Thank you. So I have to stick to the time limit, I guess. Yeah, dear participants of Bridges Dialogue, China Dialogue, this year I attended 2 high-caliber symposiums in Switzerland where the common understanding was about the region of the East, mainly China, being the future, being the region where the future lies. Today we talk about China Inc. going global, so it's going the other way around. So I feel very honored to have the opportunity today to speak to such a distinguished audience like yours, to have representatives from this very, very fast-growing region. Please allow me to start with a few introductory remarks. Some decades ago, I think, were decades of industrialization, followed by decades of technology, and who knows, maybe this decade might be a decade of communication. If our industries and societies want to globalize, I think communication becomes of paramount importance. Because if we do not understand each other, if we cannot communicate with one another, if the products and services are not localized to the respective markets, then we just simply cannot globalize. And I would like to guide you through and lead you through some of the aspects you might be faced with when globalizing and when venturing into from west to east, but most of it applies also from east to west. So, if we're looking back in history, in 2002, about 80% of all the websites were still in English. By 2009, there were less than 40% of websites in English. And a growing part, the second largest part, is already in Chinese. And the CEO at that time from Google said that 5 years from now, the majority of the internet will be dominated by Chinese languages. I mean, for our business, it's huge, it's tremendous. Since we are a multilingual communications company, we get a lot of business to do. But it also puts a heavy load on companies that want to internationalize, because multilingual communication normally is not their core activities in where they want to do business. Other statistics show that if you do not make sure that your products are localized, as a CEO of a company, you risk to lose out on more than 40% of potential revenues in the markets. So it's not enough to have your products and services in English, and not even for Europe it's enough, let alone for other geographical region. Of course, for international communication, English is the lingua franca, but it is followed by other languages. And another statistic shows that if you have product delays, and in that respect, communication, multilingual communication could be part of it. If you have product launching delays of 6 months, you might risk to lose out 1/3 of your profit throughout the life cycle of a product. And I think those are statistics which show us that we have to take communication, multilingual communication, localization serious. If you look into the European scene, you see increasing requirements from the legal side on the readability of documents. A very, very prominent example is the MiFID standards for the financial markets, where you have to make sure that your brochures are written in a way so that the investors cannot make any wrong investments based on non-understandable text, so based on too complicated text. So you are required to have that. You have EU norms which said which apply to patent information, patent leaflets, pharmaceutical information. Then most of you know all the product liability standards you have to comply with. And this is in itself, it's a major task for a company to make sure also in their source language that's going to be realized, let alone the translations. For if the source language is, and that's the benevolent side effect, if the source language is put in place so that it's readable, it's understandable, then it makes translation easier, it makes localization easier, faster, and reduces costs tremendously. Going deeper into the multilingual communication business, just allow me to say a few words about our company. We are a multilingual communication company, an international language services provider, presented in these locations. And as you see, if I can find the spot here, well, you know where Asia is. And if you look at the chart, the last 5 years we have been heavily investing into Asia Pacific, with having locations in Singapore, Hong Kong, Shanghai, and Beijing. And this region, also within our company, is growing very, very fast. So we had to learn it ours. We had to make our mistakes. We had to learn it our way on how to localize our services to meet the local needs. Because even if it's in a multilingual communication needs market, it's not only about knowing the languages, it's about knowing the cultural and intercultural aspects and transporting that into the business. So basically, our business model is very simple. We write, edit, and translate documents. That's as simple as that. And when advising our clients on what to do, on how to approach their localization projects, we very often come across this one and the same fundamental misconceptions, which I personally have been living through for the last at least 15 years, meaning that you have headquarters designing a brilliant marketing campaign or brilliant brochures combined with text and pictures, and the pictures are related to the text, and when you try to localize the text, you see that the pictures don't fit to the text anymore, because you cannot write the same text in the target language. You have to use different images, and that's where you then have to go back to headquarters and tell them, well, listen, we cannot globalize these products and we cannot localize them. So what we usually keep telling our clients is, please make sure that you take the multilingual aspect in place right up front, the multicultural aspect in place right up front. So in other words, start with the final product in mind. And then it makes it easier that by the time a document or a website goes into localization and translation of the content, it's already adapted and can be used for various cultures, and there is less effort to be done in order to localize it. Another very often aspect which very often gets underestimated is the fact that companies should standardize their terminology and define the terminology in order to make sure that you have consistent and coherent documentation, because this is a study from a few years ago which shows that if you detect terminology errors at the translation stage, let alone at the maintenance stage, it costs you 10 or 20 times as much as if you do it right up front. And if you imagine large corporations with a huge product range in several markets, that plays a huge role. And it's a huge hidden cost which normally gets forgotten along the way. So solutions for international companies, in order to make it pretty straightforward, is that if companies are globalizing, they need to define a communication process strategy to some extent, in order to make sure that multilingual content is available 24/7, and that Asian companies don't have to wait till the European ones wake up and the European ones get the information in place when they need it. It ensures that corporate-wide you can ensure knowledge sharing amongst your co-workers, amongst your colleagues, to ensure consistency, increase efficiency, and reduce cost. And multilingual communication costs really become high, especially if corporations try to do it in a decentralized way by each country handling its own translation needs and communication needs. You also have to ensure that becomes an increasingly important issue, IT security and confidentiality, especially for companies that are listed on the stock exchange, that no confidential information leaks out to the public before it's meant to be, and that of course you can recycle existing content for various types of applications. And this, at the end of the day, is not all that simple, but it's difficult if you want to manage this non-core business by yourself. There are a lot of there are many international language services providers who nowadays are in a position to offer a technology platform which can handle all those tools and which can offer that information to your company without you having to build up a non-core business in the translation sector or multilingual communication sector. So what's that more or less technology platform would look like. I'm not going into that for lack of time. Maybe just a few concluding remarks. So to localize products and services has to be understood by your clients. You have to define the terminology in order to facilitate and standardize communication. Limit the translation efforts to what is to a real minimum, but make sure that your employees get access to technology-based tools which help internal communication, because if you build up machine translation systems, for instance, and terminology databases, especially with machine translation systems, if you tailor them, if they are tailored to your company's needs, then your employees can get the gist of what's in a document, even if they don't understand the language. Those are tools which are not very, you don't even have to build them, you just have to have access to them. Those are tools which are available on the market right now and which normally service providers make sure that they can tailor them to their clients' needs. And of course that means you have to partner with one of the language services providers in order to get access to the relevant know-how, and so that you don't have to make the technology investment, because at the end of the day it's not your core business. You should be able to be successful on the marketplace, and with effective and efficient communication you can have a chance to be successful on the marketplace. You have a lot to do with building up a business in a different market, and the European market is not one market, it's a multicultural, multilingual market, and I hope with this to have given you some insights on what type of non-core businesses can be outsourced and we have to deal with. Personally, of course, standing in front of you, I would personally look forward to it that if Switzerland could attract as many Chinese companies and Asian companies to choose Switzerland as a headquarters for Europe. And of course, we are there to help you with the multilingual communication. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Doris Arbisser. Now, next speaker is Mr. Andrew Lisegro Petty. He's a CEO, chairman, and managing partner of A Capital Group. You're standing here, right? Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I saw already Professor Wu very worried, looking at me and asking if 10 minutes was enough. The good news is I'm going to keep it to 5 minutes for the interest of time. The bad news is I feel a little bit my duty in all this consensus about growing China outbound investment to give a little bit more sobering points. Number one, China's investment stock overseas is 2.3% of its GDP. In average, OECD countries have 27% of their GDP invested overseas. Number two, we have now 62 Chinese companies in the Fortune 500 list, but it is a recognition to say that they are still large domestic companies and not really multinationals as we could expect. The third thing is I'm both coming from France and Germany, and despite my president wanting France being a big country, France is a medium country, and French companies still invest 3 times more in absolute numbers last year than Chinese companies did. 150 billion compared to 60 billion. So you see, all this is very relative. So you ask yourself, who is this person telling you that? Well, actually, it's also our business, because we are probably managing the largest private fund, which is investing between China and Europe. Just 10 seconds about us. We manage 500 million euro, one fund in Europe, one fund in RMB, together with the Beijing government. And we co-invest with Chinese companies into Europe. And we help them and co-invest with them, buying brands, technologies. And so this is really our business. But out of our practical experience, we can see that it's still a very long way, and there are a lot of challenges. So let me, for the benefit of this discussion, and hopefully that you can get something out of it, get something out of our practical experience. Number one, we see that very rarely still today, and this is probably good news for the service providers in the room, there is advice sought. When you have a consumer electronic company who does not do, somebody asked me about case studies, so I'm going to give some case studies. Is not doing its strategic analysis before buying a company, and then you end up that the company which is bought has a disappearing market. This is obviously an issue. So advice is needed. When you have a food company which is in exclusivity paying the highest price for a great brand in Europe, but which needs to wait for 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks for government approval, and then the seller gets impatient and sells to somebody else 50 million euro less, I won't give the name, that is one of the very clear points where probably the government in China can help if really there is some promotion of outbound investment to be done. I think Geely is a great case, but I think very modestly from our position, we think Geely is probably an exception. We see that most of the companies which were in a difficult situation or turnaround situation, of bankrupt companies which were bought, nobody else wanted Geely, wanted Volvo. We think this is probably due to the quality and exceptional quality of Li Shufu. But most of the companies which have been bought because Chinese buyers thought they make a good bargain by buying bankrupt companies, most of these cases have failed. So some piece of advice that we try to promote, number one, is we think that a good approach is probably to start with really the profitable companies, the good companies. Those probably where you need to pay the price for, but the brands and the technology companies which really don't need money, but which can see strategically an advantage having a Chinese investor in their equity structure. Number two, I think this was very clearly said by Vice Minister Chen, is there is still some image issues. And I think especially in an economic crisis like we live it here in Europe or in the US, it's not easy as a Chinese investor to go in and to say we're going to buy you out. I think a minority strategy, at least at the beginning, can be a very smart move. In a very different context, we can see that ICBC's venture into Standard Bank in South Africa is probably a good success. Haier also invested in New Zealand in one of the largest consumer good companies, and this is a success. So a step-by-step approach allows you to have control or influence. We, for example, helped a private company out of Shanghai called Fosun become the largest shareholder of Club Méditerranée, which is a global brand. Taking majority would have probably destroyed the brand, at least if it has been done too directly. So this is a little bit the minority approach that we think can be advantageous. And then third thing, and again, we are not service providers, we are an investment fund. I think it's very, very important that Chinese companies get along with advisors, lawyers, investment banks, strategy consultants, because again, we are venturing in foreign countries, we are venturing in markets which are not the same as the Chinese market, and I think that especially today where nobody really knows where the value is, you need to look for fundamentals, and these ones you can really access with some good advice. So based on that, just one word out of conclusion to keep my 5 minutes. I think the timing is absolutely excellent. On one hand, I think that the crisis was a wake-up call for a lot of Chinese companies because they realized that the costs are rising. The famous iPad effect. We produce 100% of the iPad, but we only get 5% of the value. So they need to go up the value chain at a time where the costs are rising in China. But at the same time, a lot of European and Western companies need to access China because it has become a real market. 10 years ago, the automotive market, the luxury market was insignificant in China. Today, it's 1/4 of the market. So having a Chinese investor can actually help these target companies perform better in China. So I think it's more strategic deals that can make a lot of sense rather than purely financial one. And I think on the European side, I think it's also probably, because we are in Europe, I think it's also probably in European interest to have more investments from China rather than growing trade deficits. And I think that if Chinese capital can help create jobs, pay taxes, invest in industrial companies, help project financing, especially when you think about renewable energy or energy product, I think this is really a chance for Chinese companies if they have really a strategic approach to that. So on this one, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Jens Kirk.
Patrick.
Now we turn to the last speaker of Mr. Zheng Hui Zheng from Allen Overy. You need to be 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Okay, it's a great pleasure that I have the opportunity to share some of my working experience in terms of infrastructure investment and projects in Europe. I mean, of course, I understand I'm the last speaker, so I try to make my speech as short as possible. So, I mean, in terms of the subject I try to cover in my speech are really 4 parts. The first, what is infrastructure project from a European perspective? The second, why should we invest in infrastructure project, and why should the local government agree to give the private investor the opportunity in investing in infrastructure project? The third part is, what is the normal structure of a project financed infrastructure project here? And the final section covers the normal potential risk and the risk allocation in infrastructure project. Sorry. Okay, so in Europe, when we refer to infrastructure project, it actually covers a variety of areas. If we look at the list, it not only covers road, bridge, port, those projects we have in mind as common infrastructure project, but it also covers, for example, if we look down, the renewable project, the oil and gas network, and even power, electricity generating project. So in Europe, when we talk about infrastructure investment, it's broader. But as mentioned by my co-panel speaker earlier, actually, the big Chinese construction companies are also covering those areas and planning to expand outside of the traditional areas as well. Okay, so we have a broad definition of infrastructure project in Europe. So the next question is, why private investors want to put their money, put their equity into the project? So of course, there's a distinction between, for example, a Chinese construction company only act as the EPC contractor role for employer, which may be a government, which may be a governmental agency, and the role which, for example, a Chinese investor, which we have experienced and advised some Chinese companies already, to also play an equity portion of an infrastructure project. So it's also important from the government perspective for the Chinese investor to understand why the government want to hand over those equity interests of a share of an infrastructure project to private investors. Okay, so from the private investor perspective, and I would like to ask the current attendees from China in terms of in China and for the existing infrastructure projects we have already done, what are the motives? So before you make a decision in investing in infrastructure project, not just as an EPC contractor. Why are you doing that? So the list here basically sets out some common features of infrastructure investment in Europe. So if we quickly go through that, it basically can provide a long-term return, maybe relatively low rate, but kind of no risk, because normally the off-taker of an infrastructure project will be government. So if you trust the government payment capability, then theoretically there's no credit risk. Of course, I mean, if we have a financial crisis, that might be a different case. And I would like to point out 2 points in the middle as well. So the good thing of infrastructure investment is, first, you can build in the inflation concept here, because normally the project company, the private investor, can negotiate with the government to say the payment obligation from the government will be adjusted in accordance with the inflation, or normally in contract we call it index. So if the inflation is going up, you can expect your payment will be increased as well. And another good thing is, in terms of infrastructure investment, normally the outcome of this project isn't closely related to other economic factors. Why? Because we were going to touch on this point later on. A standard infrastructure project finance project in Europe, the investor can expect it to be paid based on availability, not the actual demand or usage rate, which means if I can make sure a project is available for, I mean, a very simple example, if we can make sure a road can be used, if we can make sure a hospital can be used, it doesn't matter how many cars are actually driving on the road. It doesn't matter how many patients attending the hospital. In terms of the investor, you should be able to assume you will be paid by the government based on the availability. So it doesn't really matter the real economic performance of that project. And if we look at this list, of course, due to the time limit, we don't do detailed analysis, but you may think, and that's very common in Europe as well, one of the largest investors or type of investors in European infrastructure projects are actually pension funds. You may wonder why. Because all those features perfectly satisfy pension fund requirement. It's low risk, long-term, kind of secured return. Then the interesting question is, if it's such a good investment, I mean, we will discuss in detail later on in terms of standard PPP project. From the investor perspective, if it's a well-managed, it's actually risk-free. So the question is, why the government want to give those investment opportunity to private investors? There are many arguments on this. So, of course, we have to go quicker due to the time restriction. So if we look at this chart, I think it's very interesting examples of the current practice in terms of the government's willingness to transfer some public service obligation or rights to private investors. The reason for doing that, as I mentioned, is a bit controversial at the moment. Traditionally, the government may say, well, we can at least transfer the initial construction cost and risks to private investor. And by doing that, the government don't need to increase public expenses. The government don't need to issue additional government bond to cover those risks. So we ask the private investor to do that. But the reason it's become controversial now, in particular in the UK, for example, the PPP project, is the public feels, well, because the PPP investors have incentives to have a properly operated, efficient project, so the government ends up, yes, you don't need to pay the initial cost, but the annual payment you have to be made to the project company based on availability is actually higher than the interest that you have to pay if you issue government bond. So, I mean, this topic is very heatedly debated in the UK at the moment, whether that's a sensible solution now to offer more those opportunities to private investors. But in short, if we look at this, spectrum, I would call it from the left side is the most complete case in terms of privatization. But from the investor perspective, it's kind of complete example of privatization, which means a public service provider company is sold to the public. For example, the case we mentioned here, British Airways and British Telecom is a good example as well. So after the sales, there's no direct connection between the government and the service provider company. But then if we move to the left side, we can say it also covers regulated sectors. For example, water, electricity supply. Yes, the services are provided by private companies, but it's heavily regulated. From the investor perspective or from the government perspective, you may wonder, what's the difference? The difference is, if an industry is heavily regulated, then if there's anything wrong, the public may blame the government because you may fail to force the relevant regulation. So the question mark is, why the government won't have those heavily regulated, privatized sector? So one common explanation is the government think those are strategically important sector. They don't want to face the disastrous result if the service provider fails to do their job properly. And if we move to the right-hand side, in terms of PPP structure, it's very similar to BOT, which is a more common term in China and Asia. That structure basically allocates risks between the government and the private investor and the contractor. So there's no complete sale of ownership, but there's an allocation and share of risks. And I mean, there are many other kinds of privatization mechanism, but the most right-hand side, the JV, there's no significant risk sharing and allocation. Of course, there are different meanings of JV, but here we really mean, for example, the government service provider agent or governmental authority work together with some commercial companies. For example, with the IT company to do advertisement, but there's no risk sharing mechanism.
You have 1 minute to complete your
Okay.
speech.
Okay.
1 minute.
Okay. So in that case, we just look at this is a commonly project financed structure, deal structure in Europe. If we ask the contracting companies here, because I have many Chinese clients, I have done quite a few big, complex project finance deal in Europe and in other parts of the world. But the difference of this structure and the commonly infrastructure project in China is normally, in terms of project in China, the banks expect parent guarantee backed finance. So which means there's full recourse finance. And here, you may think this structure is very complex. We don't have time to go through each contract, but the focus, the purpose of this structure is to make sure all the risks of the project company is back-to-back transferred to the relevant counterparties. You may ask why? Because in order to have a bank to agree to finance this, the bank would want to know I'm only responsible for the risk which I can calculate and build in their financial model to decide the interest rate. But for those uncalculatable risk, they want you, the project company, to transfer it to other parties. So if we just really go through the final bit, the risk bit, of course, there are pre-construction, construction, operation risks. So if we look at the basic construction risk, you may see the 3 different columns. Where it is crossed out, it means which party is responsible for what risk. If we just look at the left 2 columns, you will say, well, interestingly, all the project company risk is kind of in a similar position as the contractor risk. You may want to ask why. The reason is the project company wants to transfer all the construction risk to the contractor if possible. So here the contractor, we refer to EPC contractor. So the project company, ideally, they don't bear any construction and in this chart, operation risks. Operation, they transfer it all to the operators. So, I mean, we don't have time to go through this. It's just some advertisement for my firm. Of course, we are one of the best, always ranked number 1 project finance firm in the previous 10 years. That's true. Okay, so this is our local law capability. We have all offices in 40 different jurisdictions. So if I'm asked to give 1 sentence advice for a Chinese construction company, which is also, as some speakers mentioned, want to have equity proportion investment, my advice will be, first, select a good project. Properly do your homework, do a good due diligence check. Some panel speakers mentioned we need to have good advisors, but interesting, based on my existing experience, some big Chinese companies already know how to use good advisors. For example, in a recent Western European deals, we have been involved. We had a trip to Western Europe to negotiate directly with the target company for the DD process. There are only 5 persons from a target company, CEO, CFO, and
I think that's we don't need to go to the details of the case. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, it's fine.
Mr.
So,
Chen?
if there are any questions, I'm very happy to answer. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. That give us a few minutes, right, to ask questions. Please, at first, I think we would invite the 3 business executives to come to stage and answer questions. Indeed, we have 3 major actors in businesses, and we have those advisors, right? 3 advisors.
Investor.
Investors. Oh, not those. 哎，好，坐这儿。谢总，刘总，那个，陈总，OK，我也吧 ，OK，
你坐哪儿？你坐这儿。
Now that's we have a few sometimes questions. Yes, yes, please. The ladies first. Yeah. 话筒. Yeah.
I'm Laurelie Janke. I'm from the University of Geneva, and I'm also president of SUTI. And I would like, first of all, to compliment the organizers of this wonderful conference. And I have a very precise question to the last speaker, Mr. Cheng. Where do you get your language providers for? Because it was an impressive list of languages in which you are handling your business. And do you work with universities? Do you work with language companies such as Doris Albisser has been presenting, CLS? Because coming from academia, training translators and interpreters, I would very much like to know how you handle this, because it's a very difficult issue, I guess. Thank you.
Okay. We'll go to there's a question. Yes, lately we have a. I think you are indeed service provider, private financing service, right? Yes, please.
Thank you. Michael Anobiel, lisaopen.org. First of all, I'd like to thank Doris Albisser for a very good summary of the practical reasons underlining why a multilingual communication strategy is very important. And I would further that by also applauding her for underlining, again, a key component, which is that companies should have a communication strategy in place and what that entails. Also, Andre Luskuk-Pietri, thank you for, in my view, helping to shed a lot of light on why China ranks so highly in the top 100 companies of the world, and the fact that that underlining strength is still within a domestic capacity. So my question has to, and I'd like to address the esteemed panel here, my question has more to do with, in the context of China's growth ambitions for the international market, just exactly how do the corporations and the government see multilingual communications and culture as a strategic part of their business development implementation? Thank you.
Okay, we have a last question. Yes, please.
Thank you. I'm from Caixin Media, and I have a question. I have to ask it with in Chinese. 我是来自新世纪的周刊的一个记者，然后我们曾经在采访过就这个中国在海外做工程的问题哈，采访过很多这个中国的企业，当然不包括在座的3位。那我听到2种这个极端的说法，一种呢是认为呢在欧美做生意呢，就是同样是做工程的哈，一种是认为在欧美做生意呢，这个非常简单，因为一切都是写在合同上的，一切这个都是在明面上的，就没有任何灰色的这种交易的地带，也就是说他们不用去考虑这种潜规则的因素，他们认为这个在其他的地方都难以避免，这是一种说法。但同时我们也听到另外一种说法，这个来自于这个中海外，因为他们最近在波兰呢遭遇了一个很大的工程上的失败，这个我想很多人都知道了。那我们也在跟他们的人在底下做工程的人在内部交流的时候呢，觉得听到了另外一种声音，就是他们认为至少在波兰做生意是非常危险的。他们认为外国的这个欧洲的基建公司对他们采取了非常排斥的一种态度，而且呢，经常就各种问题，就当地的业主也好，还有其他的这些竞争对手也好呢，经常就有一些这种工程之外的问题来给他们找茬儿，比如说环保啊等等的，所以他们觉得在欧洲做生意非常为难。后来他们放弃了这个工程，退出来了。所以我想问在座的就是3个也在这个海外做工程的这3位企业家，就是你们是怎么看待在欧洲这个做生意的这个问题？谢谢。
Okay, let's 刘总先
说是对，第一个不是，就他这个问题是我。
对，你先。That was the last question first. Okay.
可以，这个
你先去回答吧。
好。这个在波兰，在欧洲开展这个经营正常的市场行为，我不认为有什么这个特殊的刁难，或者是我不太了解。最起码我们开展业务没有碰到这个问题。我认为这个问题呢，就是说进入一个国家，对这个国家的法律的熟悉程度以及遵照它的规则，这是必然的。那么有些行为呢，认为是市场竞争的，或者是如果非市场的一些行为，我想当地国也有法律，一切按照法律来办事儿，按照规则来办事儿。这是我们到任何国家都是采取的这个行为。
We have a lawyer here. Do you have some comment?
那么就是对于在欧洲投资的问题啊，我觉得我也可以提一下我自己的就是自己的体会。我觉得最大的一个不同是我们需要用不同的这个文化以及做事的方式去看待做项目。比如说在中国文化或者说我们常见，我觉得也是很合理的方式中，是我们先签一个合同，然后呢，我们在不断的做工程的过程中，不断的调整，不断的谈判，从最后达到一个双赢的局面。就是它的刚开始的这个合同，很多在中国做交易的时候不是最重要的，但在欧洲不一样。在欧洲的话，因为这个传统，它是什么呢？就是合同双方他会觉得我签了合同就是按合同做，如果你需要改变，除非是基于合同另外一方的失误或者错误，那你要付相关的这个费用以及增长的费用。所以这就要求什么呢？这就要求我们的中方的承包商或者投资商在投资之前，你就要好好的阅读相关的这个背景资料，你要做详尽的尽职调查。同时，比如说你是建造商，你的 EPC 合同，你就要给一个你可以接受的修改稿。现在很多的政策是，我为了拿这个项目，我一点这个评论都没有。然后我价格可以压得很低，因为我们的基于的起点是，那我们只要开始做了，我们就是朋友了，我们可以再谈。 但是这并不是在欧洲这个做事的方式。那回到您一开始提的这一点，我接触的有一些在中国比较大的一些这种工程以及说这种电力能源企业，他们喜欢在欧洲找项目，但他们难以或者困难找到合适的项目。为什么？就像你说了，在欧洲没有潜规则，它可以很容易的知道相关的风险是什么。就像我们今天早晨的那个演讲者提到了这个政治风险。那现在我们国家政治风险主要的承担者是什么呢？是这个中信保 Financial。我最近看的一个项目，当时就是一个中方的一个很大的这种央企之一，同时它是和中信保的团队一起过来的。所以就是说因为中信保团队它必须要知道你这些风险，我们可不可以就是说这个把它给弥补掉。比如很简单的一个例子，比如说承建合同，如果你是作为投资商的话，我们需要有一个长期可依赖的这个使用合同，英文叫 offtake agreement， 就是我们需要有一个长期的，就是说，而且你可以比如说未来20年，你每年固定给我一个支付的，我需要有这个信心。那如果是在西欧的话，大部分它是有这个信心的。
好，谢谢。谢总有没有什么补充？没有什么补充。OK。
I'd like to comment on this Polish story, because I think it's very important in the relationship between Europe and China. It became really part of a much larger game, because in Brussels you had the impression when there was this Polish story, and just for the explanation for most of the people in the room, there was a Chinese company who was being awarded the construction of a relatively small portion of I think a Polish highway, and it became basically you had the impression that all highways in Europe were built by Chinese companies, which was actually a very small contract compared to the rest. But the unfortunate thing is that happened at the same time where between Europe and China there was a big discussion about can European companies get access to government contract in China. So this story became part of a much larger political issue. And I think the lesson out of that is that the two parties, and you got my message from before, I think it's very important for Chinese companies to make it, to explain more what can be the benefit of Chinese investment and involvement in government procurement here in Europe, that it's not huge numbers yet, and that it's rather beneficial. And I think from a European side, we also need to have a more strategic approach about what kind of investment from China do we want or not. And there was somebody from the WTO before at the previous panel. What has happened in Europe since now 1 year, Europe now has the competence for investment, not just for trade. And it's now 1 year that the European Union has that, and there's still no investment strategy or investment common policy. So obviously we have other issues to deal with, but I think it's also the responsibility of Europe to say clearly what kind of investment we want from outside and which one are probably more strategic or more sensitive. So I think the Polish story is a case for a communication failure on both sides.
Okay, now we turn to the second question in both orders, right? And about cultural and language issues. And you, Lisa, you will lead first.
Yeah, I think,
and
Michael, you
Doris.
raised the point whether the multilingual and multicultural aspect has moved to the as a strategic part already within corporations. We actually see not so much from that part yet. It's still perceived to be kind of a necessary evil. It has to be done well, but it's still kind of organized in a halfway chaotic, halfway organized way. What we do see, however, is that at least, well, not at least, well, what we do see, there is a trend for centralization when it comes to concluding a global agreement, that it has moved to the procurement department, but that's usually more from a cost point of view and from a pricing point of view, and not so much from a strategic point of view where you define how are we going to get organized, how do we set up a communication strategy, how do we find a corporate wording so that we can really streamline the multilingual and multicultural communication. So that's really a work in progress, but that's in all countries. That has nothing to do with China.
谢总要为关于这个文化和语言的这个发表点意见。是他刚才的问题是这个文化是不是公司的重要的部分？跨文化的管理。
关于文化跟语言的问题哈，说句实在的，这个还是非常的重要的，因为文化呢，它是潜移默化的，在各个地方都存在。那么如何把这个文化管理好呢？也是中国企业目前所面临的 一个比较大的问题。那么特别是呢，最近几年，那么中国企业呢，更多的走向了海外，那么开展了跨国经营活动。那么如何把这个不同的地区、不同的国家这个文化，那么都能够协调好、管理好，那么创造出一个适合于企业发展的，那么符合于本企业的，那么发展的一个企业文化，这个呢是非常关键的一个重要工作。那么语言方面呢，那么就我们感觉来讲呢，那么因为现在这个在中国的改革开放已经30多年了，那么这就新的包括年轻的一些员工呢，那么都能够呢比较快的就是适应那么不同的语言，那么开展工作。那么这方面呢已经有了一个很大的这个进步。那么他们只是我这儿说的比较就是适应那么不同的语言开展工作呢，只是说开展工作。当然你要说他做到专业化，或者说非常准确的理解很多，那么每一句话或每一个文字呢，那么这个呢可能还有一定的难度。也就是说中国的企业的员工呢，那么在这个在这个语言方面呢，那么也还需要有段路要走，但是呢已经比前几年呢那么好了很多了，因为年轻的一代呢都已经起来了。那么再一个呢，就是说我们开展这个跨国经营以后呢，那么在不同的地区呢，那么尽可能的使用当地的那么人力资源。那么对当地人力资源的使用呢，也是我们的一个重要工作。那么这样的话呢，我们也需要呢，那么在语言方面呢，那么也要管理好，让大家呢能够相互的协调，那么相互的互相能够比较方便的理解。那么这也是我们一项主要的工作，我是这么认为。
好，谢谢。那 last but not least, Mr. Zheng Hui, where did you learn English? Very brief.
Okay, I mean, I actually learned my English in China.
In China, you see. Okay, thank you, with distinguished panel. 谢谢各位演讲嘉宾，我们这些结束。Thank you.